Welcome to another edition of Thought Leaders Live, where we talk with thought leaders in business, life, and all points in between. Very excited to be joined by Robyn Mussler today. Uh, Thank you so much for joining us, Robyn. We're going to talk about focusing on education in business, and hopefully these two can start to merge through some of your efforts. And we're really going to talk about becoming the CEO of your own life, how to build the next generation of innovators. So, Robyn, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So, Robyn is the founder and CEO of SharkMakers. It's an entrepreneurship program. And Robyn, why don't you tell us a little bit about your own journey and then what you're doing with SharkMakers?
Absolutely. So my background is software, right? I've been a part of the tech world for 25 plus years. My focus, I'm a fractional transformation officer and product strategist. So I've been a part of developing hundreds of products from inception and taking them to market at a global scale. And so really understanding that product development process and the go-to market for that. And so well, I guess it's about 12 years ago, I was invited to be on the career ed board of one of the education foundations here in Pinellas County in the Tampa Bay area. And what I saw that there was a gap in how our students, our young people are being educated and what our needs are in industry. And so I offered to them saying, hey, I think that there's a better way than what is happening right now. If you're up for it, I'll put something together. So what I did is I just sat down and wrote best demonstrated practices. Little did I know how that was going to change my life forever. But the first year it took off really well. But what I realized is that 95% of what we do is not being taught. So I looked at my colleagues who I kind of coerced to go on this journey with me. And I said, well, if we know that they need it, we have the skills. They're not getting it. It's up to us to solve the problem. So fast forward, what I did is the Shark Makers is kind of known as that youth Shark Tank. And so what I did is embellish the program to be more of an educational and training program in addition to the competition that we have. So putting that American Idol twist into it. And so kids come up with a real world problem that they want to solve. And through the program that I created, along with our incredible business mentor community, we help them take that raw, innovative idea and build a product and business that they can take to market. So everything we are teaching them is true to industry, being taught by industry experts. We're all about getting downright messy because it's in that cause and effect of how people really learn. The whole focus is on building a product and business that has customer value with a good customer experience. So we're not into fancy tech for the sake of fancy tech or solving problems that don't exist, right? We are really helping our young people step in to be the CEOs of their lives and get the skills, the mindset, the professional network to be successful no matter what pathway that is, right? Helping them to step into their superpowers.
Just maybe you could fill this in a little bit more too. Logistically, how does this work? Is this a after school program? Do you work with
Good question.
schools? How does it, and what's the time commitment on the students' part?
Sure. Very good question. So, in its current form, it's a high school after school program, and it's a 5 month commitment. So, it's a hybrid model where we have 7 in person workshops. And at each workshop, we are teaching a few concepts and then applying those concepts, working with the mentors, the students will apply them to the product and business that they are working on. And so, like I said, it's all about pushing them out of their comfort zone and getting all messy. One of the things that is our unique approach is that we teach human centric design with accessibility at the core. So we are teaching the whole entire 100% of the market, not just a percentage. 1 in 4 people have a disability, and many of those are silent about their disability of fear of bias and judgment. And so we're opening our young people's understanding of what those different perspectives are and how to design in the beginning to accommodate instead of an afterthought. So looking to make a broader impact and allow everybody to understand where their puzzle piece fits into community. So and then so it's hybrid, so there are virtual sessions with the mentors to go over things as they are producing them. Also, we do give 15,000 in awards every year. First place team gets 10,000 of that, and then they get to a 30-minute pitch with a shark. So we are all about giving them real world experience and exposure as much as possible to prepare them.
I'm curious the type of kids that you are attracting to the program. Um, you know, a lot of extracurriculars. You've got band, you've got the musicians, you've got sports, you've got the jocks. Curious about what kind of kid fills in the entrepreneurial role.
So we look for three things in a student: that they're motivated, coachable, and committed. We know that the skills that we're going to teach them that they don't know, and that's okay, right? And it's really interesting because it really is that student who is the busiest, who is the one that excels best in our program. And yeah, so we do have athletes, we have students who have multiple uh, after school type of activities. And I think one of the things what they see is all of a sudden there is this magical transformation that happens in the program. There's so much personal development, which, to tell you the truth, kind of surprised me
Mm.
in the beginning, but it's beautiful to see. And that's why I keep on doing it, is to see how the students all of a sudden gain that confidence and now, create that art of possibility and open the doors of curiosity and creativity. The sky's the limit, right? Once you get to that. And so, but, uh, and the students are 14 to 18. But also, one of the things I did want to kind of put a plug out there, that we are launching a collegiate SharkMakers program here in the Tampa Bay area. So doing a pilot this year, um, and at the collegiate level. And for both of the programs, we do have aspirations to take both of them nationally.
I love it. When I was a little kid, my mom, who was in academic, she was an academic, and she found this program. I think it was in grade school, and it was called College for Kids. And they have all different types of collegiate track courses: chemistry, science, sciences, math. And I took the writing course, and that motivated me so much to get a taste of what that actual discipline was like. So that's kind of been my career as well, to follow that. So I think this is so great that you're giving the entrepreneurial world, giving them access to this and a taste of it, and instilling some of the things that they'll need to know as they pursue their careers. You said something very interesting to me, though, earlier, when you just said that 90% of the skills are not being taught in the educational system. Now, we're not here to beat up on the educational system, but
Right.
I am just
Not at
curious.
all.
They're obviously they've got a lot of things and that they're trying to work on, but what are some of those skills that your program really brings to light?
So, what our program really brings to life is, first of all, it is that experiential project based learning. Okay. And so, theory doesn't really resonate, it doesn't really stick, right? You've
Right.
got to do that experience. So, that's a huge distinction here. But collaboration, we do require that there's 3 to 5 students because life is a team sport. You really need to understand how to effectively work with people, and there's going to be impasses. How do you deal with it?
Yeah.
You don't just run away or say, okay, I quit, right? That's quitting, and excuses are not allowed in our program. So
Right.
it's that tough love that gives them those parameters that they can stay in. Communication, number one skill that is going to determine somebody's success. I've had students that they say, oh, well, I want it to be in tech, so I don't need to be able to speak in front of people or have good communication skills. Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Right. And critical thinking, which to me, critical thinking is through that experiential learning. How tear something apart, see how it's broken or how it is going to be put together nicely. But the thing is we learn from the messy, we learn from the mistakes. When things go right, you know, the way that life is, it's not a checkbox. And so there is so much that in the education system, it's all about the grade. It's all about, okay, I've done this step, this step. Life is full of anomalies. What happens when problems and challenges arise? So that's what we're equipping our students, that no matter what, there's always a solution that can be figured out. May not be what they originally thought, but that you don't give up, and also that there's always a way to get through things.
Right. And I think we've gotten the show notes that entrepreneurship is a life skill that really prepares young people for any career. And I own my own business, and I think one of the biggest lessons I got out of it is, you have to create, you have to make it happen. You have to
Right.
make your life happen. And I think that's, huge for any entrepreneur. And I think in today's world, we just don't have the kind of career paths we used to. We don't have companies where you can go and work for 30 years anymore. I mean, out there, but they're few and far between. So tell me why you think that entrepreneurship is such a valuable skill, Robin.
So entrepreneurship is really about coping with change and about just having a business, because entrepreneurial skills are going to serve you well in your personal life, in your professional life, whether you are a business owner, entrepreneur, or an employee. Because especially in today's era of AI and emerging technology, it's really having those skills that you are questioning, that you are challenging, that you are moving forward, you're capable of making those decisions. And so that's why I feel that entrepreneurship is so important. It really is about helping one step into their superpowers and get that confidence to be able to make decisions and to become those future leaders and change makers.
I find that one of the great skills too from entrepreneurship is curiosity.
Oh,
I remember
absolutely.
I was speaking at this college one time, and it was to a group of marketing students, and they were filled, all these well-dressed marketing students, all had their ties. They talked for a half an hour about buzz marketing at that time. And somebody in the front row, I said, any questions? Guy in the front row, how do I get a job? That's the only question any of them had, except for this one guy came up to me, kind of dressed real casual, t-shirt and stuff. He's like, "Hey, have you read so and so?" And he rattled out about 5 different books on marketing. And I'm like, "Who is this guy?" I'm like, what program are you in here?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm in the entrepreneurship program." and he was just fascinated in the topic I was talking about, and he's like, "Oh, those are some of my friends over there in the program, and they all look like a bunch of skateboarders, but they all had that curiosity, and I think that's a critical skill to survive
Absolutely.
in today's world." So let's pivot off of that and get more into, you mentioned AI and how it's reshaping education, workforce development, and what skills do employees need to survive in today's AI driven world?
So I really like this topic because so many people are focusing on the technical aspects of the skills when it really is that whole human aspect that is so important. Okay. And so teaching that framework of how to think, how things actually work. So in the tech world, we do use cases, right, to outline how you're going to design software in because it's about bits and bytes. And so so many people things happen, but they only focus on a few things about that particular either activity or building a product or something like that. There's so much that really comes into play, and it's going, okay, well, what happens when this fails and it doesn't go that path? So many people think in that happy path when you really need to look at what are all the unhappy paths and be able to prepare for that. So that to me is like the biggest preparation for getting your skill development for AI and emerging tech that happens. I just a couple of weeks ago talked to a group of teachers who teach career ed and tech. And so I said, you know your crafts. So it's not about giving your students a task and a checklist of what they know. Now you're challenging them, turn it around, have them teach you how this activity is. Now they're learning.
Mm.
And so, because that analog way of doing things is so important to have that understanding to be able to effectively use AI tools and emerging technology to be efficient, right? We are the ones that craft, they regurgitate and come back, and we should always question and research and refine to what really makes sense for us as human beings.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think it's I always say it's you on your own are good, AI on its own is good, but together 1 + 1 = 3. And I think that yeah, and you're the one driving the boat here. So you're the one who's using the AI to improve your own work and improve your output. So it's really a reaction, right? It's a give and take with AI and shaping things. And that ability to think critically and adapt to change is important. Are there any specific you mentioned speaking to educators about it. Anything specifically, specific skills in regard to the workforce that people should be focusing on in dealing with AI?
So I think it is giving permission to get messy and really trying things out to better understand and not looking for that perfectionism. And that's what so many people like industry leaders, a lot of times that's what they're looking for. You're not going to get somebody that's perfect, but you need to look at those skills like that has not changed. Are they a good person? Are they a hard worker? Are they curious? Right? What about time management, collaboration, all these skills? Because if I have the interest to keep on going and figuring it out, that is one of the top skills
Hmm.
that anybody is looking for, right? So it's that tenacity to say, "Mm, okay, I didn't get it quite right, but I'm going to go for another one and then another one. It's just, so many inventors. What has happened? Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb in one try, not even 10 tries. What I think it was like a 90 plus. Okay. And so we need to get back in that mode of understanding that. First of all, industry has to get involved in being a part of helping our young people understand what they do. And so it's not lecturing, it's actually showing and being a part of, as well as educators need to really focus more on that curiosity and helping them, not telling them what to think, but that framework that allows them to look at all different angles, right? You want to be able to look at that 360 angle and say, if I just twist it a little bit here, what does that look like? Um, and so that to me is really what is so key.
There was a friend of mine put out a post about Michigan not handing out letter grades to its freshmen and sophomores. And I was talking with my wife, who was a former educator, about that and what she thought, and the point she made, and the point Robert Persig made in his book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, when he stopped grading for a semester, is you need some sort of guidelines. You need
Yes.
something. You can't just do away with the grade system, as flawed as it is. I have to tell you, Robyn, what you just said about curiosity, time management, perseverance. I mean, to me, those should be the things you're getting graded on.
Yeah.
Those qualities, that should be your report card. And, whatever topic you're taking, whatever you come up with, whatever you teach yourself, which is what your program really seems to be doing, that's going to determine future success, not memorizing something for a test. That's what I really like about what you're talking about.
Oh, well, so students come in, right, and they want that checklist, and they finally, after a month or so, they realize, okay, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? And
Right.
so we don't, to your point, we don't grade anything. They do have deliverables. Okay, so it is something. They have deliverables, things that we actually do in industry, not to the detail level, but we are planting those seeds of fundamental skills. It's just like an, what do they always go back to? Those fundamental skills to ensure that they can be at their peak. The true test is, do you get selected to be as a finalist? And do you, are you in the winning circle for, at the end of the program? Of everything else, we're just coaching and putting them in their own shoes. So they say, well, how does that look? Everything, for example, pitching is a key thing that we have in there, right? Because communication is such a key skill. We record them, we allow them to critique themselves. They make all their own decisions. So we do not make decisions for them. So even if they're working on something and we know that that's probably not going to have a good outcome, all we would say is, you might want to consider, or why don't you list out the pros and cons? Ultimately, the responsibility is on those students to make their own decisions. So then that way, when it doesn't work, you go, okay, what was the cause of it? And now that that happened, what are your alternatives? And so now they start understanding that cause and effect. They start gaining confidence because they go, oh, because that happened, I came up with a better solution.
Yeah.
And then that's where their curiosity keeps on peaking. So that's the state that we need to get all of our students in, right? So that they can be the best versions of themselves.
Oh, it's so right on. Let's we're getting toward the closing to the end of the program, but let's talk a little bit about how businesses can partner with educators because, as you mentioned, there's this big gap that we all know is out there, and education is quite frankly struggling right now with AI. They're not sure which way to go. I always feel like when there's a challenge, there's an opportunity. And
Absolutely.
boy, is there a big opportunity for education right now doing the things you're talking about. So tell us a little bit, Robin, about how businesses can partner with education.
Sure. I think businesses need to get out there. It's just they need to get out of their own bubble and they need to get in the community and interact, right? Be a part of, not talking to, being a part of programs like SharkMakers, okay? But experiential type of programming. But also one of the things that we do in SharkMakers that so many programs people just overlook, industry overlooks, is students, parents, educators don't know the wealth of industry that is out there, the different types of careers, what is actually happening in their own community. So get out and let's start educating each other of what that is all about. Because I am sure that most people, if they do that, they're going to see a wealth of opportunity in their own community that they don't need to go outside, but you need to pay attention. How is community actually operating? And then what are, challenge to see what are those problems. So we should not be asking our students, what do they want to be when they grow up? We should be asking them, what problems do you want to solve, and
Hmm.
challenge them to what those problems are. Identify the opportunities that are out there and the challenges in each of the different industries. So, not just one sided type of industry. What's happening in sustainability? What's happening in the medical field, right? All of these different ones. So then they go, oh, okay, wow. You know what? This kind of interests me. And I think that's another thing, too, that I would like to highlight. If somebody is involved in something that matters to them, their learning's going to soar.
Hmm. There it is.
And so that's why in Shark Makers, we have them choose what the problem that they're going to solve. And we are always challenging them. Is this something that is purposeful for you?
Hmm.
And so then all of a sudden, now you're going to find those connections to what you're doing and going, wow, it just opens a huge door of opportunity. And so that's what I really challenge industry to set aside time and not get so hung up on their ROI and that sort of thing, because what they're missing is that we've got great talent. It's just the nurturing and helping, coaching and showing them the pathway.
Robin, let me just take that one step further. So
Sure.
maybe a manufacturer or a software company or somebody like that looking to recruit people. They want to get people involved. I really like what you're saying about, okay, get out of your bubble and go out there. Brainstorm with me for a second, if you
Sure.
would. Um, what would they do with your problem first focus to get out there and kind of they've got positions open. People are going to ask about pay, all of that. Is there things they can do beyond just talking about positions and kind of doing what you're talking about and present, like, try and challenge them, like, what problems do you want to solve?
So you could put on a community event, inviting people from the community to schools and that sort of thing. The exposure to what is happening is really needed. Have a half a day or even an hour or 2 hours where you invite students and their teachers to come and see what you do and have them do an activity. So I think just get engaged, because the whole thing is that also you need to understand how to work with them. You can't just assume, okay, I said it to you one time, you got it type of thing.
Yeah.
You need to meet people at their level, embrace that. Once you got, once you get dig into there and you have them there, now they're going to start learning. And that's when that whole curiosity peaks. So put together a family day, or there's a, what is it, American teach-in, those different types of things. Really do stuff that allows our young people to understand the business that you do.
Yeah. Very helpful. I really like what you said about giving them a problem and letting them self-select. So my wife was, when she taught fourth graders, she would let them pick the book. And
Yeah,
all she was trying to do is develop a love of reading, and you're developing a love of learning with your program. And
great.
I think, to me, that's the biggest win, because I always find the best employees and the best people I've worked with are lifelong learners. And I think you're really doing a great job instilling that, Robyn.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
So if somebody wants to, they like what you're doing, they want to learn more about the program, maybe they want to volunteer for the program or help out in any way, how do they get a hold of you, Robyn?
Yeah, so I am on LinkedIn, Robyn Mussler. So you could reach out to me there. Our website is connected360.org. So CONNECTIT 360.org. And then also the email address to send inquiries to, if that's your preferred method, is SharkMaker, because I'm a shark maker, uh, is SharkMaker at connected360.org. And
Okay.
I can send you information that you could share with your audience as well.
Okay. Well, just watch out for those sharks in the Tampa Bay if you're going out swimming. But once again, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Thought Leaders Live. Very provocative and very encouraging to see this program out there. And I wish you much success with it.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And so hold on just after the show and we'll chat for a second. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on another edition of Thought Leaders Live. We'll